Hello gamers, and welcome to some more preview content for Steel Division 2, the upcoming Tribute to the Liberation of Italy DLC. Let's build a deck with Task Force 45. I actually built one already, but it didn't work out well. I think the division has some problems when it comes to AT capabilities. I mean, what you've basically got is the bazooka units, the 6-pounders with only 150 mil, 15 mil penetration, and obviously the tank destroyers, and that's about it. And you lack heavier equipment in the tank department. Since the game, you've got quite some artillery, but you can't bring it with ammunition trucks or supply trucks. So I was actually wondering whether it might be sensible to gear it towards a Maverick deck. You get lots of B-phase stuff, but let's see. So the burn time is cheap. For early aggression might be usable. It's super fast, 80 kilometers, but very limited armor. Also the no top armor, so HE grenades can destroy it. Ammo and Pioneers. Let's take a quick look what we're going to take. We're definitely going to take the snipers. Let's take them. We could take them in a half track for 10 extra points. What we're definitely going to take is the cavalry scouts, because they are super important. Also because of they've got the bazooka, so we take them in A phase and B phase. And then question is, maybe we're going to go for some of those lighter vehicles. M5A1 in A phase, potentially we could get 4. There's also the Brazilian sniper unit. I think we will just go for mass sniper units in C phase. Let's go for balance with the deck. Because of the lack of offensive capabilities, it's maybe actually good to try to grind down the opponent. And M8 or M5A1. The M8 is much faster. Penetration is the same. The armor is slightly worse, of course. Availability is 4. Here it is 4 as well. Ammunition is slightly better on the Recon tank. 80 AP shells, 64 HE shells, and also a double Browning in addition. So let's actually go for this one. I think it might be sensible to single vet it to increase survivability a bit, and then let's go for a Brazilian or a T70 tank destroyer, but that's only in A phase. It's only 2 cards unvetted. Might be an option, but right now let's go for the Brazilian M8 in B phase unvetted. Infantry. The Nisei rifles are going to be our mainline infantry with the bazooka. They don't lose much double vetted, so let's actually double vet them in B and C phase. This is kind of our core unit. Then let's take a look at what we can bring in A phase as a sort of line infantry. And I think it's just going to be the converted gunners. And let's go for the disheartened ones, because they've got the MG and it's 15 guys, so quite beefy. And that's our only line infantry option in A phase, to be honest. Which is a bit problematic, of course. A phase CQC has to be the engineers. So let's take them. Single vetted. So that we get 5. And then in B phase our CQC unit could be the engineers, or yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It has to be the engineers. The veterancy curve is pretty much in our favor. So let's bring the engineers in a B phase as a CQC unit. And then let's go for a mass unit in C phase. Even though that might not be enough in B phase, we will see. They just need to hold. 36 gunners in C phase, 15 dudes. This would be a 36 as well, with an MG, but disheartened. And we don't have anything in the support tab against the disheartened effect, other than the leaders. Do they negate the... Yeah, I think it does not. Yeah. Okay, so I think we need to go for another B or C phase unit. I mean, in B phase we would get 24 of these gunners, and that should possibly last through C phase as well. Let's take a quick look at the amount of infantry, 70. This is not much for an infantry unit. I mean, we also have this rifle squad here, it's a sort of line infantry potentially. And yeah, double LMG and the grease gun could be quite useful in forest fights later on. Let's actually take them single vetted. And let's kick out the gunners, even though the numbers are quite tempting, but I think in practice the double LMG from the Prasinyas will be more useful. But there's quite a steep curve, so let's bring them unvetted. And in C phase, let's go for numbers here as well. We still have our elite Japanese infantry. I mean, A phase looks pretty bad. We need to compensate for that a little bit with the other vehicles we get. And we might want to take a leader, even though it's 4 points, but I think we ought to have to. And I think I will go for availability here. So this is A phase 3 guys. This is B phase, this is B phase 4 guys. This is B phase 2 guys only. And this is B phase 4 guys. So these leaders and the gunners were 4 guys. They've got a smoke grenade and they are capable in CQC. And the Prasinyas, on the other hand, have the bazooka. And also have 2 grease guns. I think I'll go for them in B phase. Obviously this cost a lot of points, unfortunately. In the tank department we could go for early cheap infantry support with the M5A1. Definitely a Sherman in B phase and also C phase. In A phase the light tank might actually be enough. 70 mil penetration. Could not kill another Sherman though, so... But I think let's go for the cheap tank and rather get something else in the AT tab. So let's go for AT first. We've got this good tank destroyer. Let's bring 2 of them single vetted in A phase. And let's bring 6 of them single vetted in C phase. If the opponent brings something in A phase, we will bring them out, 2 of them, that we need to destroy. If not, they will last through C phase. We definitely need the bazooka guys because they are awesome. In B phase and in... Okay, the Americans can only come in B phase. They can't... Okay, maybe because they are Japanese. Yeah, they've got the fanatical trait. So let's bring them in C phase. Even though, how many would we get here in C phase? 18. Yeah, let's go with the Japanese in C phase. So that we have 12 in B phase as well. And then we're going to go for 1 6-pounder. None of them can come in A phase, so we really need this tank destroyer in A phase. It's a really problematic AT for this division, I think. Which one are we gonna get? Definitely B phase, because I think it might be obsolete in C phase. And I think we'll go for the fanatical one, but the fanatical one has to come upvetted, and you don't necessarily want to upvet your AT guns, so the Brazilians we take. In the artillery tab, I think we will need to take a leader in B phase just to supplement the leadership. We don't have enough leaders otherwise. And let's also take a commander to build up a command chain. We need to hold the line, so we need, I think it would be helpful to have as much veterancy as possible. In particularly already in A phase actually, where we don't have a leader yet. And we won't have one. So let's take this guy. He improves of nearby units. Yeah, so he should actually at them. We should bring him in A phase potentially and make use of him. And now this is a 2K range infantry gun. And I think I really like it. And we will use it in a push in C phase. Let's bring it. We will also need HMGs in A phase. It has to be this one, unvetted, in a quick WC25. And I think we need another one in B phase. Which one are we gonna take? Obviously, the Americans have the advantage of the range. And the fanatical is only that they don't surrender, right? Yeah, we'll never surrender. Or we go for these guys, we would get 12 of them. Same weapon as the Japanese, but not fanatical. But we get 12 as opposed to 8 unvetted. Though, let's go for them. Let's go for numbers here. And we're definitely going to need one support truck at the very least. Actually, we need more than one support supply truck. But we will see how it plays out. We can't put up a supply truck at other stuff. Now we still have lots here to cover. And yeah, as you can see, it's really problematic because of the amount of units we've got here. This is costing us 4 points. I might actually have to delete one of the infantry units. And to be honest to me, with regards to the, that's now only 92 infantry. Some of it is really good, like the Nisei rifles. But it makes me wonder if this deck has the survivability for a long game. And I potentially think it does not. So let's gear it towards a Maverick deck, after all. Which means we want our... Well, that's enough, but the snipers will come in B phase. Let me know what you think in the comments, whether I should go for a different setup here. We could bring the half tracks, but it's too expensive, I think, so let's just stick to this. Infantry tab changes. I think we would get rid of the Prashinyas in C phase for sure, and these for the moment. And the B phase Prashinyas as well. Okay, let's see. Now then, the Prashinyas single vetted. Cost some money. 1 second. Okay, so we stick to the leaders in B phase for sure. In the Nisei rifles, the question is, what's our second? We've got the CQC units, and then we can either take more Nisei rifles in B phase or the Prashinyas. And I think the Nisei rifles are the superior unit. They are slightly more expensive, but they've got the bazooka, they've got the fanatical trait, double vetted. We bring like 8 as opposed to 5. So let's bring the Nisei rifles in B phase. We do have this leader card. We could consider bringing more units in A phase, but we need to cover it otherwise, I think, because it's too costly. And then let's bring the Prashinyas as a numbers card in C phase a little bit for longevity. Also, obviously, we now need to make some changes here. And I think that change would be to double that the Shermans. Just 1 second. This one is double vetted and has 6. And if I double vet this one, it's 4. Doesn't, oh, okay, this is C phase actually. Okay, so 2 double vetted Shermans. Let's go for 2 more double vetted in B phase. The M4 will have to come in B phase as well. Single vetted. Here we can go for the fanatical dudes in B phase, single vetted. Anti-tank we need to adjust as well. So we're going to bring the tank destroyers in B phase, single vetted. And we might not need another bazooka squad, to be honest. Now then, with regards to air, I think this unit is really nice looking, but it's a bit underwhelming. And we've got the P51B, better unit. We get 4 of them in A phase, and that should be enough. We take them in A phase just to be covered. We would only get 2 of these in A phase. And look at the speed difference alone. Yeah, it's also got way more damage output, like more than twice. It is an option to bring the napalm bomber. So it's an interesting tool, and I think it might be helpful against infantry. Let's try it out. And then we've got heavy bomber options as well. Or a fighter bomber. We need something to take out enemy strong points, but I think we'll go for the cheapish Mitchell bomber with 12 45 kg bombs in B phase. And I'm inclined to take the Havoc. It can fight a bit, it can do some support duty, and we get vision. We can use it to scout the enemy, we can use it to ensure that our P47D has line of sight. So here we go. Other option obviously might have been the P51B multi-purpose plane basically, but if I compare them, I think it would be good to have one heavy bomber, and also it's cheaper, and we have 4 of them. Anti-air, the good old Bofors in A and B. And then we have cheap slots here. So we're going to take one M2 90mm dual purpose gun, which can play a dual role as a AT gun, which makes me want to take it in A phase actually, but we would need 2 despite the reduced rate of fire. And then I think we're going to take the truck. There are 2 of them. The one has HE shells and bullets as well, and that's the one we're going to take, and it might help in a B phase push. Availability drops quite a bit with veterancy, but I think that'll do. Now the Bofors here is not vetted, that's a mistake of course. Single vetted in B phase. And we should potentially also single vet the Bofors in A phase and still have 2. So we would have 4 of these and then 6 of these. This should be enough. We have some points left, 6 points actually. So one of there's no off map. This is a super cheap mortar unit. I think if we bring that and bring quite a lot of mortars, we can really annoy the enemy. So let's take it. The more expensive options, do they have more ammunition? No, they actually don't. Yeah, I think, and this is 1.8k range, so it's not that bad actually. Now the question is, what else do we take? I would like to have 1 artillery piece for counter battery fire. This is obviously an interesting option, but I think availability of 2 and the price speak against it. This is also only availability of 2. Accuracy is 20, accuracy is 30 though with this one. Obu 0, 105mm, availability is 6. Accuracy 24%. I'm not sure how this gun would fare, but considering the price value for counter battery, if we would like to bring out like 2 at least, maybe more. And considering the price tag, I think this is what I'm going with for now. Now we've got 3 points left. Obviously we could bring more mortars, but then that would be about it. So let's see if we can get anything like with 3 points. It would be the support tab. More supply we don't need right now. The M8 Scott potentially with an assault gun mounted to it. Or we could go for more recon units, and that could be the T70 actually, which might be helpful in A phase against enemy tanks. So if we were to bring this one in A phase, unvetted, or we could go for the M8 in A phase as an infantry support as well, single vetted. And they've also got AP shells and are cheaper, and it should be enough. And we still have the tank destroyers. I mean, we could obviously bring them into B phase instead, but we also need the points, you know, to buy all the stuff. So I think it's okay like that. And the question is, we potentially want to upvet the M8 to 1 veterancy as well. Maverick V1. So let's take a look at how it looks like when we distribute it. So For cavalry scouts, reckon infantry is obviously really bad. But we have the HMGs to support it, and in particular we will need to place the M5A1. I don't bring any vehicles in half tracks because I think we have enough support vehicles. Maybe I should bring one of the Ingenieros in half tracks, we'll see in a moment. And here we've got the tank destroyer, which we really need. It's the only thing we can bring in A phase, so we have to. We've got these units. This is also AT. Artillery commander only in B phase. I mean, we could potentially bring it in A phase. Let's see the availability, because we've got the Prashinyas in B phase. Then we've got the Mars mortars. And to try it out. And yeah, later on though. So we've got the fighter. In B phase, there's not much infantry for an infantry deck. I mean, the longevity of this deck, I think, is debatable in 1v1. So we've got quite a bit of cool units here with the snipers and the cavalry scouts. This could be a really nice B phase push, to be honest. So survive A phase, then build up in B phase, and attack in the second half of B phase. That's kind of like the game plan, I think, for this deck. Let me know what you think, or how would you build the deck? Do you think it can be a a balanced deck in 1v1? I think in multiplayer, this is in 10v10 for example, this is a perfect deck as a support deck, because you get pretty cool infantry, you get pretty cool artillery, later on also lots of AA. So I think in 10v10 for example, this deck or this division could potentially shine. And some B phase fighter options or plane options, and then in C phase it's only the Prashinyas. It might be an idea to move one of the Shermans to B phase, for example. That's an option. Let's quickly take a look at the drop here. Yeah, it drops by 2. I think that would drop too hard, also considering the price tag. And let's take a look if we should bring anyone in half tracks. I mean, the Americans, they can't come in half tracks. Not even this leader can come in a half track. Basically no one here can come in a half track. These engineers, no. Can our support dudes? No. Well, they could come in an HMG vehicle for 10 points, but that's not gonna happen. The anti-tank dudes. The artillery commander, not either. Okay. Yeah, despite the good artillery options here, I can't actually bring all this artillery. Also, the activation points are quite high here. I could bring one more card of infantry, but I don't really have a good card of infantry for A phase, but those converted gunners. The disheartened ones and the not disheartened ones. I think it's not necessarily worth it. We need to hold the ground with the other units at our disposal, and I think it's possible. So this is the deck. Let me know what you think, and then I'll send it to battle next. I'm not sure yet if because it's a preview build, if I should send it into quick play or something, or just against the AI to test the waters with the deck once. Let me know what you think about that as well. I think testing a new deck once against the AI ain't bad anyway, so I might just do that and make a fool out of myself when I lose against the hard AI, if it comes to the worst. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. Until then, bye for now.